News at 9.
Could be a loud night in some parts of the metro as thunderstorms are in the forecast. The latest chance of rain comes after 2 days of storms around the metro. Fox 42's weather forecaster Jim De La Vega is in for Chief Meteorologist Kevin Raymer. So, Jim, when will that rain start up again?
It'll start up in a little bit. We're going to have light showers. This is a big look at the system, and we see the bulk of the moisture is to the south, not in Kansas. That's where we're seeing the red. Same thing when we go into the metro. We see light showers to the north, a few light showers over the metro area. Most of the activity, though, the moderate showers to the south. We're looking at Shenandoah, Clarinda getting a little rain now, but moderate showers coming in later tonight. And Bedford currently getting moderate showers. Some of this could be severe as we go through the night. So we have the rain going on now, but what will it be like for your commute tomorrow? How should you dress? I'm going to show you everything coming up for your entire work week at just 9:36. Monty?
All right, Jim, keep an eye on it. Let us know.
It was one of the worst natural disasters in Omaha history. It's now been 40 years since it happened. I'm Paul Gutierrez, and tonight we'll relive the tornado of 1975 through the sights and sounds of a former police officer who was on duty at the time.
But first, it's considered the worst of all curse words, and now people in one area city are trying to find out who spray painted it all over town. As Fox 42's Paul Gutierrez reports from Benson, people are angry and say they want an arrest.
People in this North Omaha neighborhood say this community is usually really quiet. So when something like this happened, it came as a complete shock. It's a message that wouldn't be appropriate anywhere. Big and bold words reading F cops.
I went up and helped a lady up the street with the same problem on her garage, actually.
This truck belongs to Ross Snyder's neighbor near Benson. Whoever vandalized it left the same marks on his van over the weekend. It's since been cleaned up, but you can still clearly see the red smudge marks.
Didn't get quite all of it off, but enough that we could be respectable and drive around town.
Snyder tells us more than a half dozen homes and cars became a target. It has some neighbors wondering if the recent unrest in Baltimore has anything to do with it.
It was sprayed exactly the same way.
Though Snyder is not sure who is responsible for this, he hopes that person will pay a big price for what they did.
Put them on graffiti patrol and do 200 hours of cleaning up some graffiti off some road signs.
While the exact amount of damage is not yet known, some neighbors say they're considering adding video cameras so they can help catch whomever is responsible. Paul Gutierrez, Fox 42 News.
Now, some neighbors tell us they've already filed police reports. If you have a tip that could lead to an arrest, you're urged to call Omaha Police. You can also call Crime Stoppers. Their number 402-444-7867. Remember, no one will know you called. Well, why would a man stab two women in a Council Bluffs home? That's what investigators now want to know. And police say the women fought back and stabbed him as well. Police say 39-year-old David McKee broke out a rear window, then stabbed the woman yesterday. Police say he then ran out of the house and police caught him before he got too far. Police say the women were not badly hurt, but the accused attacker is still in jail and in critical condition. Police say he threatened the women all day before showing up and going after them. Well, those living right in the heart of Omaha say something needs to be done about a dangerous intersection now. It comes the day after a financial advisor from Berkshire Hathaway was killed in a car crash. This latest crash is just one of many that's happened in the area of 63rd and Shirley in just the last few months. Fox 42's Bill Steckis reports neighbors say they know what needs to be done to fix that problem. Bill?
Now, this is where the crashes took place. You can still see damage to this power line, but let me give you a lay of the land. Brand new apartment complex across the street with several hundred new people to the neighborhood. And just across from there, we have UNO dorms. Again, more people new to the neighborhood. All of them use 63rd Street daily. They all say the street just isn't big enough anymore.
Well, people are generally going more than 30.
Sean Pratt sees it every day through his window. He lives right on 63rd Street.
All over the neighborhood, I mean, especially here at 61st Avenue and Shirley, people don't stop for the intersection at all. So it's not a shocker that they don't stop down there by the schools or Exarban area.
The speed limit is 30 on this stretch of 63rd, right where most of the accidents occur.
So maybe we need to slow it down to 25, even maybe 20, just to accommodate everything.
Angela Darrow says the two serious weekend crashes come on the heels of a police speed trap 2 weeks ago set up to slow down drivers. But that didn't work.
And the cops were just nailing people left and right just because people go so fast through that area. And there's a school up there.
She has 3 kids and she's concerned for them and all the kids in the neighborhood.
I am concerned because my 2-year-old little boy likes to run up ahead of us, and people are going too fast. They don't see him. They're going to run him over. So they need to drive the speed limit through here.
So neighbors remembering when 63rd Street was a much safer place. Now, eerily, one of the neighbors who didn't want to go on camera told me that it was going to take someone to die before something was done, and she made that comment last week. Then she said one of the nice things would be to put up a street light here at the intersection.
All right, Bill, let's hope that happens soon. It usually costs anywhere between $60,000 to $120,000 to install a new traffic light. And if you use Dodge Street in West Omaha, you might want to start thinking of detouring to get around. That's because starting this time next week, the eastbound ramp to 168th Street will be shut down. Some business owners fear the road construction will hurt their bottom lines. Traffic will also be reduced to 2 lanes in each direction during the overnight hours. That road work is expected to last into October. The number of new HIV cases reported in Iowa is way down, but state health officials say don't take too much away from that just yet. The Iowa Department of Public Health now says that new HIV diagnoses are down 19%. That's the fewest number of cases since 2003. Estimates are there are around 2,400 people living with HIV in Iowa right now. And 3 million more chickens and turkeys will now have to be killed in Iowa. That's after 4 new cases of the bird flu were reported today. Iowa's governor now says it's the worst bird flu outbreak in the United States history, or in Nebraska's history. Iowa's, rather. The total now stands at 25 million birds killed or that will be killed, and 25 reported cases of the bird flu. The governor says times are tough for farmers right now.
You know, farm income is projected by the USDA to be down 32%. We're now facing this bird flu epidemic, which obviously is going to have some impact on the state.
On Friday, Branstad declared a state of emergency, an action aimed at helping fight the bird flu. The latest numbers show over the past 5 months, producers have killed 21 million birds in the Midwest alone. And we're now starting severe weather season, and 40 years ago, that brought one of the worst storms Omaha has ever experienced. A huge tornado ripped through the city, killing several people and leaving 125 more hurt. Fox 42's Paul Gutierrez takes us back to one of the darkest days in Omaha's history through the memories of a former police officer who was there when it happened.
We got the fire cloud. The wires are going down.
It's a disaster Bob Rebold remembers like it was yesterday.
East of 84th Street exit ramp, I have 2 parties with multiple fractures that were thrown off the road by the tornado, and there are several persons shouting at me from down in the neighborhood down there to come down and assist.
The storm traveled down the interstate and then subsequently went north.
North of Maple, around 68th and 69th. I have buildings down, houses down, filling station down. We don't know if anybody's inside or not.
It's now been 40 years since a massive tornado tore through the city of Omaha. Nothing like it has happened since. Rebold was an Omaha police officer at the time, helping with search and rescue efforts. These audio tapes, a reminder of just how bad the storm of 75 became.
71st and Blondville, you got some buildings been destroyed, and all the wires are down in the street. I don't know if they're hot or not.
The storm that swept through here was classified by weather experts as an F4. Now, this part of town has since been restored, and you can see homes and businesses are back. But people who live around here will never forget what happened.
Here's a picture of an apartment complex similar to the one I'm in now.
Inside his home, Rebold also keeps a magazine. These images detail the tornado's path of destruction. To this day, it still haunts him.
If there's a tornado watch, I get very, very nervous because it brings back a lot of a lot of bad memories and a lot of sad memories.
Since 1975, dozens of tornadoes have struck near the city, from the tragedy in Little Sioux that killed Boy Scouts, to the devastation in Thurman, Iowa, to the one that slammed into Fremont. For Rebold, they're reminders that another disaster in the heart of town is possible.
Be ready for any time, day or night, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, as to what to do, and pay attention to your advisories, watches, and warnings.
Because you never know when or where Mother Nature might strike next. Paul Gutierrez, Fox 42 News.
Between May 6th and May 7th of 1975, more than 30 tornadoes were confirmed to have touched down in 6 states. Weather experts tell us it remains one of the costliest tornadoes in American history. And Nebraska isn't the only place where tornadoes hit hard. You can add northeast Iowa to that list. Since 1965, there have been 5 EF5 tornadoes in Iowa, the most powerful kind. All of those have happened near Cedar Rapids. An EF5 tornado has winds of greater than 200 miles per hour velocity. Iowa's tornado activity peaks during the months of May and June, when 60% of the state's touchdowns occur. The most likely time is between the hours of 4 and 6 p.m. during the peak heating of the day. Still to come, when is being connected a bad thing? At 9:16, Wi-Fi in your car is a popular new feature. We'll show you why some, though, are now saying it makes driving a lot more dangerous. And a weekend shooting in Texas opens a new free speech debate about when or if it's okay to insult somebody's religion. Coming up at 9:30, we'll show you why some say free speech may not always be good. But first, one of the most popular celebrations in the area is canceled. Wait till you see why some people who own businesses say that may not be a bad thing. That story's up next on the Fox 42 News. And a quick reminder, we're always looking for story ideas from you. If you have something you think we should check into, please let us know about it. Just send us an email with your name, phone number, and a little information on the story to news42@kptm.com, or just give us a call. There's our newsroom number, 402-554-4282.
Fine by me. Yes, mic check. No parade, no street festival, no Benson Days as you may know it. Is there a way to change? Okay.
A longtime neighborhood festival is canceled this year, but it has nothing to do with money. You can blame a lack of Benson Days on road construction. Organizers say if they held the festival, it could pose a danger to everyone who turned out. Fox 42's Shannon Smith explains why that is and what organizers are planning to celebrate in the neighborhood instead.
That's right, Monty. No parade, no street festival, no Benson Days as you may know it. But organizers tell me that they are planning something in its place here at Benson Park.
We love the traditional Benson Days with the parade.
These Benson streets are usually packed with people in July as part of the neighborhood's annual Benson Days festival, complete with a parade and different vendors, but not this year.
We are not going to have the street festival like we have done in the past few years.
That's because of summer construction along the main streets in Benson starting in July.
We were initially going to try and push it back, Benson Days, to September.
But Samantha Blackwell says that wouldn't work, and having the festival in the middle of a construction zone wasn't the best idea either.
Since the road construction seems like it's going to be kind of a big deal, we don't want to put anybody in harm's way or have it inconvenient for the people that come to Benson Days.
Blackwell is the president of the Benson Business Association. She says there's still a chance to celebrate the neighborhood.
We decided to go ahead and have just the concert on the weekend that we typically do Benson Days, so people recognize that weekend.
The concert will be at Benson Park. You'll be able to enjoy music and food, but don't expect any local businesses.
I'm perfectly fine with that. In years to come, if that were the case, that would be fine too.
Kelly King says he doesn't think it'll hurt business. Blackwell says this is just a little roadblock because she says next year's Benson Days will be even better.
We want to make it really big because with the street project, downtown Benson's going to look completely different, and we want people to see that. It's going to be beautiful.
Organizers tell me they also plan to have fireworks so they can keep it as a family-friendly event. And as far as who those food vendors will be or who's even performing at this concert, those plans aren't definite just yet. Monty?
Well, it won't replace Benson Days, but it may fill in just for this year. All right. The Benson Day concert is scheduled for July 25th at Benson Park. Organizers say this cancellation is only temporary. They plan to have a bigger and even better Benson Days next year once construction is complete. And highway construction isn't the only thing that's now going to be going on in Benson. Administrators confirmed to us tonight a new track will be put in at Benson High School. The athletic director tells us the current track has too much wear and tear. We're told the hope is a new track will lead to more student involvement in sports.
It's also a great project for our communities because we have people walking out here 5:30 in the morning. This facility is used by youth football groups, youth track programs.
Construction on the new track will begin May 26th. Work is expected to wrap up in July. More than $200,000 in suspected drug money is now off the streets. That's thanks to a bust in Nebraska. It happened during a traffic stop along I-80 in York County on Saturday. Police say it all started when a drug dog sniffed out drugs on that money. One person was arrested. No other details are being released at this time. And it's now time to announce the winner of our Stir Cove Concert Series Season Pass. We chose a name at random out of everyone who entered through our Artist of the Day contest. Congratulations, Carrie Buglewitz. We'll be calling you to let you know that you won. The season passes will get you into every show at Stir Cove this summer. Thanks to everyone who entered. Well, it's high school party time, and authorities are always looking into ways to prevent underage drinking. But one suggestion on how they might handle this in the future has Tom Becca rather concerned. And that's the focus of tonight's Becca's Beat.
Hello. I'm Nostradamus. You caught me gazing into my crystal ball. I'm trying to look into the future, and if a city ordinance that's being discussed ever comes to fruition, every parent in town is going to need one of these. They'll need to have one so they can monitor their children's every move, just like the Wicked Witch of the West watched over Dorothy and her crew in The Wizard of Oz. Now, here's the deal. The law that's being discussed says if underage kids are having a party in someone's home and there's alcohol at the party, the homeowners could be charged with some crime even if they didn't supply the booze or know that alcohol was being passed around. Now, I don't know about you, but I had good parents. My parents kept a close eye on us kids. They paid attention to what we were doing, and we got away with murder, and they never knew. Oh yes, some of it may or may not have included underage drinking. I won't admit to anything in case a politician wants to make a law that's retroactive. Now, I am not condoning underage drinking. I'm not encouraging it or saying that adults that do buy booze for kids shouldn't be prosecuted. What I am saying is that we need to get some common sense in the way we address alcohol in this country, and there's absolutely no sense in going after a parent unless you can prove that they knew or supplied the booze. If high school kids are having a party in someone's home, should the students have to go through a metal detector, be patted down and strip searched like they're boarding a plane? Even then, should a parent go downstairs to breathalyze kids every 15 minutes to double check on them? Of course those are stupid ideas, but they're no more stupid than an ordinance that would punish someone for a crime they didn't participate in or knew nothing about. I'm bringing this to your attention, hoping to stop this un-American idea before it gains any more momentum. Hey, I'm not a mind reader. I don't know what you're thinking, so like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and give us your thoughts with the hashtag #Becca'sBeat.
And still to come, using the First Amendment rights to criticize someone else's religion. At 9:28, we'll tell you why yesterday's shooting in Texas now has some asking when and where freedom of speech could be taken too far. Also, becoming more bike-friendly. At 9:38, we take a look into what exactly Omaha is now doing to step up its game when it comes to creating a safer commute for cyclists. And coming up next, a new feature is now becoming all the rage. Wi-Fi is now keeping drivers connected on the go. We'll tell you why some are already saying, though, it's making the roads more dangerous. And as we head to break, here's a look at today's closing numbers on Wall Street and a look at a few local stocks. If you spend a lot of time in your car, a new technology could be just the thing for you. Now automakers are offering built-in web access for drivers, but not everyone thinks that's such a good idea. Fox 42's Laura Berry investigates and uncovers the safety concerns involved with in-car Wi-Fi.
and I thought it would be silly to spend an extra $20 a month on something that I don't need. And then I realized it can be an absolute asset.
Bill Beagle is talking about in-car Wi-Fi, a new technology that lets him check his email, send proposals, and even catch up on his favorite television shows, all from the comfort of his new car.
I absolutely believe that having the Wi-Fi is much more reliable than just cell signal.
It works by having the proper equipment installed in the vehicle, and then you're going to have a cell modem in the vehicle that's going to then send out a Wi-Fi hotspot, and at that point you just sync up your laptop, tablet, or computer, and you're ready to go.
And with more and more cars coming with the service, some worry that could mean more folks losing focus on the task at hand.
The internet may create a situation where we are not processing the information that we take in the roadway in the same way that we would if we were just focused on the task of driving.
And distracted driving is something this Douglas County deputy says he's seen lead to deadly consequences.
It's frustrating to see accidents that didn't need to occur. If somebody was just paying attention to their phone, or not giving 100% to the road, and then get somebody hurt. It seems kind of senseless.
And even Beagle realizes there is a potential downside to the new convenience.
The urge to want to check email or hear what the Bing is about can absolutely be distracting. One way I will take myself out of that is keep the phone in the back seat.
And for Beagle, the new technology has now become a way of life.
It's one of those things I couldn't do without now.
Laura Berry, Fox 42 News.
While the coverage does come for free with some makes and models, odds are you still have to pay for data. That can cost you anywhere from $5 a day to $500 for a multi-year plan. Things are now calming down in Baltimore tonight, but things were different earlier today after a network news report. It falsely claimed police had shot a man in the streets. The Fox News report said an officer had shot a man who was running away, and that the man who was shot dropped a gun. People started pouring into the streets, but it turns out that did not happen. Yes, a man had a gun, dropped it, and it went off. Nobody was shot. A Kansas man is pretty heated up and is now reaching out. That's after two men were caught on camera stealing his motorcycle. You can see them walk up in broad daylight, check out the bike, and watch literally walk away with it. He's hoping by releasing this surveillance video, it will go viral and stop other motorcyclists from falling victim to these same two men. The full-fledged race for the 2016 presidency is now only widening, and not only widening, it's becoming a lot more diverse as well. Retired neurosurgeon Ben Carson, who has no experience as a lawmaker, announced his intention to run for president this weekend as a Republican. A second woman has now also entered the race. Former CEO of Hewlett-Packard, Carly Fiorina, announced her bid as the first woman to strive for the GOP's nomination. Former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee is expected to announce his run tomorrow. And there are now some new details in a shooting that left two people dead at a free speech convention in eastern Texas. Investigators say that two men with guns showed up to a cartoon contest to depict the Prophet Muhammad and began to open fire on the building. An officer who was part of the traffic detail shot and killed both men. One of the men had previously been arrested on charges of terrorism.
There's a problem in Islam, and the problem is we can't talk about the problem. We are seeing the wholesale slaughter of Christians in Iraq and in Syria, in Nigeria, in the Congo, Central African Republic. The jihad is raging.
Investigators are now saying the men were roommates. One of the shooters had posted a tweet just before the attack, linking himself to the terror group ISIS. Though the event was criticized by some as a hateful targeting of Muslims, most argue that freedom of speech should still be protected. Fox 42 News national correspondent Christine Frizzau looks into the First Amendment rights that are now under fire.
It was billed as a freedom of speech event. Organizer Pamela Geller became known for her anti-Islamic views.
There's a problem in Islam, and the problem is we can't talk about the problem.
The program at Sunday's event included a Prophet Muhammad cartoon contest. Remember the massacre at the French satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo? Images of the Prophet Muhammad printed in the magazine were cited as the reason it was targeted. Still, Jean Policinski, who heads up the First Amendment Center at Washington, D.C.'s museum, says it's speech that is nonetheless protected by the First Amendment.
The fact that speech has provoked a violent attack in the past, I don't think is sufficient reason to shut down speech in an event that isn't directly inviting violence.
There is, of course, a long history of speech viewed by the masses to be hateful or offensive, which has all been protected by the highest court. From a neo-Nazi demonstration in a Jewish neighborhood in Skokie, Illinois, to burning the American flag, to the Westboro Baptist Church protests at military funerals.
The First Amendment's entire existence is not to protect speech in the middle that everybody thinks is fine. It, by its very definition, protects speech on the fringe, with speech that many people don't like.
Policinski says as long as direct violence is not called for, it's what sets this country apart in the best way possible. In Washington, I'm Christine Frizzell reporting.
The White House has released an official statement following what happened in Garland, Texas, saying, quote, "There is no act of expression, even if some people find it offensive, that could justify an act of violence." Still ahead, when it comes to biking, the Metro isn't exactly scoring high marks. At 9:39, we'll show you how exactly city planners are putting their heads together to make the streets not only safer for cyclists, but a faster commute as well. Also, planning out the next big steps coming up at 9:41. We'll tell you how the millennial generation is making new cost-cutting decisions to help change with the times when it comes to starting a family.
And I'm going to show you exactly where the rain is and when it'll affect you up next.
Here are tonight's top stories. Those in the Benson neighborhood are now hoping police will soon catch the person who's been spray painting a curse word throughout their community. The vandalism has been appearing on cars and houses. Some neighbors are wondering if the recent unrest in Baltimore has anything to do with it. Most of the damage has already been cleaned up. Federal agents say they've been investigating one of the men suspected in a deadly shooting in suburban Dallas outside a Prophet Muhammad cartoon contest, and that they've been doing that for years. Elton Simpson was prosecuted for lying to a federal agent and got 3 years probation. Agents recorded the young man from Phoenix talking about fighting non-believers for Allah and his plans to travel to South Africa and link up with brothers in Somalia. And despite the fact Benson Days Festival as we know it won't happen this year, many business owners say they don't expect to lose much money. Instead of a parade and variety of vendors, organizers are planning a concert and fireworks weekend. It's because of concerns over road construction on a main street, which will be taking place this summer. Organizers say they plan to hold the festival next year.
And we've got some unsettled weather going on. This is a big look at the system. We see more intense showers to south of us. Zoom in and take a look at the metro, and we're seeing a few light showers to the north, but to the south is where most of the action is. And we're seeing some moderate showers right now in Bedford. We're going to see some moderate showers moving into Clarinda in just a little bit, lighter showers in Corning. This system will play out a little after midnight, but there'll still be areas where we'll be getting light showers going through the night. Some of these systems could be stronger than just moderate. It could become more intense. Today we're 67 degrees. The average is 70, so we were a little below normal for today. Here's where we are right now, 60 degrees. Humidity because of that rain, 90%. The winds from the north at 5 miles per hour. Other places, we've got Grand Island, 12 miles per hour, 10-mile-per-hour winds in Columbus, 12 in Fremont, 10 in Lincoln, and 10 in Falls City, 12-mile-per-hour winds in Carroll at this hour. So what about temperatures? Well, Epley is at 60 degrees. Millard is at 60. Offutt, a little bit warmer, 61 degrees. It is in the mid-50s in Grand Island, 56 in Norfolk, 55 in Columbus. Beatrice, a little warmer, 62 degrees, mid-60s in Falls City. It is 62 in Nebraska City. We're looking at 59 in Lincoln, 63 in Plattsmouth, 58 in Fremont, 57 in Harlan, a little warmer in Creston, 63 degrees, and Double Nichols, 55 degrees in Carroll right now. So for tonight, here's what we're going to see. 58 degrees will be the low. That wind's going to fluctuate 5 to 8 miles per hour, but where areas of thunderstorms move in, the wind will be stronger. About a 40% chance of rain going through the night. 79 for tomorrow, winds 7 to 14 miles per hour. This is what it looks like. Unsettled weather throughout much of the week, with that rain chance continuing. 40% for tomorrow, 70% on Wednesday, and 80% chance of us seeing showers on Thursday.
This is the season for that kind of changeable weather.
It certainly is.
All right, Jim. Well, a new master plan for bicyclists is coming to the metro to make your commute easier. And with summer around the corner, Fox 42's Kayla Van Wee found out more about why it's happening for the first time in what researchers call a not-so-friendly place to ride.
When it comes to bike-friendly streets, city officials admit more than half of Omaha's streets rate a D grade or below.
We have a pretty relatively small number of bicycle lanes in places like that was scored higher. But most of our major streets, as you would expect, did not score very well.
Add to that bike paths that are too narrow on streets with too many cars going too fast. All of these issues factor into the low scores, Yuli says. And local bike riders say they know exactly what he's talking about.
Frequently, one of us will come in and kind of rage about a bad experience that we had with a driver that day, just getting honked at or people making gestures. Our own space on the road is the main challenge.
But a new city plan aims to change all that.
This is not just for the hardcore cyclists out there. This is really looking at how can we make cycling more viable and more safe for the average user, for families and people that might be casual bicyclists.
Stripping roads and putting up signs will come first. Reconstruction of more side paths, paved shoulders, and bike lanes will follow. Yuli says this project will work to better connect underserved bike traffic areas running from east to west of all Douglas, Sarpy, and Pottawatomie counties. Something bikers, drivers, and even those who just like to stroll will be able to appreciate. In Omaha, Kayla Van Wee, Fox 42 News.
And Metropolitan Area Planning says people will have their chance to weigh in on the possible changes in coming weeks. Just go to our Fox 42 Kptm website for more information on where and when those meetings will be. An iconic Las Vegas hotel and casino has closed its doors. The Riviera first opened its doors back in 1955 with Liberace as the opening night act. The hotel was sold to the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority back in February. The agency says it plans to expand the Las Vegas Convention Center at the site of the Riviera. That expansion could take at least 5 years. McDonald's new CEO admits the Golden Arches are looking a little dull. So the company has unveiled a turnaround plan aimed at boosting McDonald's hopes. Among the changes planned, new things for its menu, including sirloin burgers and premium chicken sandwiches. The company said it also plans to reorganize its international operations and franchise more of its eateries. Having come of age during the Great Recession, millennials have become among the most money conscious of generations. For young families also trying to save for college and retirement, it can lead to some very tough choices. Reporter Karen Kafer from Fox 42 News partner CNN visits with one family.
Tracy and Matt Merrill are building a family in suburban Washington. With 2.5-year-old Jake, they planned for an addition. What they didn't plan for was an addition times 2.
I was just knocking my head against the doctor's office like, oh no. It's the worst thing to feel because it's like it's like awesome having kids, 2 kids, but it's also horrible to think the first thing I can think about is money.
Millennials like the Merrills have become among the most money-conscious Americans. They've learned the lessons of the Great Recession. They're mindful of saving for college and retirement, but face different financial challenges than their parents.
Now with the twins, I think it was just like, as it relates to daycare, that's terrifying because we know how much it costs now. And I know that we both want to continue to work.
The USDA has tracked basic expenditures on children like housing, food, transportation, and clothing for more than 50 years. They say the total has increased every single year, now topping $245,000 from birth to age 18, not including college. Economist Mark Lino says one cost has pushed the total significantly.
One of the big increases on the cost of raising a child is in terms of child care and non-college education. When we first did the study in 1960, child care accounted for about 2% of the overall cost of raising a child. Now it's 18%.
That's because the number of families with both spouses in the workforce has also increased. But Tracy or Matt staying at home would carry a price tag too.
When parents have a child, usually one parent reduces time in the labor force or drops out of the labor force for a period of years. That has a substantial cost attached to it.
And the family is now considering hand-me-downs for the twins, they say, which will reduce the average cost per child until college. They're also looking at other ways at cutting their budget. $21 billion, speaking of a budget, that's how much will be spent on Mother's Day this year. Those numbers courtesy of the National Retail Federation. That's an average of $172 each. Most people surveyed said they would buy their mom in their life a greeting card, and 2 out of every 3 people polled said they would buy flowers. About a third of people said they plan to buy jewelry. And you better hurry on buying that gift. Mother's Day is Sunday. And if you're looking for a free breakfast to start off your Cinco de Mayo, look no further than Taco Bell. The fast food chain has announced it'll be giving away 1 free sausage or bacon biscuit taco per customer. Free biscuit tacos are only available tomorrow between 7 and 11 a.m. So, Ralph, you better get ready for that.
Let's go.
There you go.
Coming up in sports, the road to an NBA championship just got a little rougher for LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. And Steph Curry got emotional today at the ceremony to accept the NBA's Most Valuable Player award. Sports is next. There are some great matchups in the NBA playoffs, including the second round series that started tonight in Cleveland. The Cavaliers, high hopes with the return of LeBron James. They're also without Kevin Love the rest of the way. The Chicago Bulls came up big on the road in game one. It was really decided in the third quarter. Take a look at Chicago's Derrick Rose working one-on-one against LeBron, and he's just going to bury a tough three-pointer. That was part of a decisive 15-0 scoring blitz by the Bulls as Jimmy Butler converts the steal with the slam at the other end. He scored 20 points. Paul Gasol hitting the jumper, had a double-double, 21 points, 10 rebounds. Rose finished with 25 points. Game one of the series goes Chicago. The Bulls beat LeBron and the Cavaliers 99-92. Game two set for Wednesday night in Cleveland. Tonight's other second round series opener is in the Western Conference at Houston, where the Rockets were leading the Clippers in a close one just before halftime. LA playing without star point guard Chris Paul, sidelined by a sore hamstring. Earlier today, Steph Curry became the first Golden State Warrior ever to be named the NBA's most valuable player. Curry won in a close vote over Houston's James Harden, but if you've watched the guy all season, it should not have been close. Curry, sensational this year, averaging 24 points, 8 assists a game, while breaking his own record for most three-pointers made in a season. He got emotional at today's ceremony when talking about the influence of his father, former NBA player Del Curry.
Pops, you're the example of what a true professional is on and off the court. And to be able to follow in your footsteps, it means a lot to me. This is special. I'm really proud of what you were able to do in your career, and I don't take that for granted at all. A lot of people thought I had it easy with the Pops playing, in the NBA, but you made it okay for me to have a family at my age when I started it, and to know that you take care of your business, you'll be all right. So thank you so much.
In baseball, Craig Counsell made his managerial debut tonight for Milwaukee, taking on the Dodgers. Counsell was hired to replace Ron Renicky, who was fired after a 7-18 start. Rookie Jock Peterson continued his hot hitting for L.A. with his 7th home run of the season. But that bullpen also continued its lousy pitching for L.A., blowing a 3-1 lead. Chris Hatcher relieved Clayton Kershaw in the 8th inning, gave up 3 runs. The Dodgers snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. Counsell wins his debut as Brewers manager 4-3. Royals are off tonight. Their AAA team, the Storm Chasers, returned home after going 3-5 at Oklahoma City and Colorado Springs. Omaha routed Round Rock this evening, 8-3, starting the homestand.
All right, good score. All right, Ralph. Well, it's not unusual to see a kite flying in the sky. This one is certainly getting a lot of attention. Just how big it really is and what it took to get that off the ground. But first, stopping at nothing to support his wife, what one man is doing to help his wife get a much-needed kidney, and how you can lend your support to help make it happen. A Rhode Island man is now doing all he can to find a kidney donor for his wife. He's put a sign on the back of his truck and is searching the internet for anyone who may be able to help. Reporter Tony Gugliotta has the story from Warwick.
You've probably seen it on the road, parked next to it, or noticed it in the family driveway. Either way, this message on the back of Jim Small's pickup truck is getting noticed.
And that's what it's all about, is getting the word out there.
Jim's wife, April, was diagnosed with polycystic kidney disease, a condition where cysts grow on the kidneys, in essence strangling the kidneys and not allowing them to do their job properly. She has type O negative blood, a relatively rare blood type, so finding a match and a potential donor is difficult.
I'm happy that he's doing this. It's just an uncomfortable feeling for me to put my whole life out there.
But April has seen what a transplant can do. Her brother Lloyd suffered from the same condition. It's genetic. His wife Lisa happens to be the same blood type and donated a kidney to him.
It takes a very special person to do it, but there's a little bit of luck involved in there too, because we didn't even know that she would match.
If there is a match out there for April, however, Jim will find it. His moving billboard has spread to his daughter's car. He's also monitoring an online campaign to find donors.
You talk to somebody and you say, you know, your wife needs a kidney. They know somebody who knows somebody.
April is on a list to receive a transplant, but if she can provide her own donor, she's able to go forward with the process immediately, something that certainly benefited her brother and his wife, Lisa.
I would say to anybody, you will not have any diminished functionality at all. And you will be doing something that, you know, only you could give to another person.
And Lisa says that a common myth is that the donor is sick following donation or needs to take medication for the rest of their lives. That's completely false, she says. She says she was in the hospital for a handful of days before walking out to resume a normal life. Well, flying high, where this 328-foot kite took flight and what it took to make sure it got off the ground. Finally tonight, forget running alongside this kite. It took a crane to lift that thing. Take a look at this massive koi fish kite that flew high over Tokyo for National Children's Day. The 328-foot fish weighs more than 700 pounds and was sewn together by volunteers from all over the area. Yeah, Jim, as you were saying, it'd take a lot of people to go running with that kite to get it up in there, wouldn't it?
It certainly would. That is humongous. Weather not going to be the best for that. We'll have a little bit of a wind, but rain is going to be an issue. 65 with the chance of rain at 9 a.m., 75 peak of sun at noon, and then showers again towards the evening. 75 will be the temperature there. That was 65 at 9, I meant to say. We had a 40% chance of rain tomorrow, 70% on Wednesday, 80% chance on Thursday.
Very seasonable weather, this changeable stuff. All right, thanks, Jim. That is our newscast for tonight. We thank you for joining us. I'm Monty Torres. We will see you tomorrow night. Good night.